Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now.
Oh,
December 21st, 2025.
cinco,
The United States bankrupts Nicolas Maduro and leaves him without money, without oil, without honor.
or,
They've done it again, and this time with an oil tanker sent by China.
uh,
Truan challenges. He bets everything on one card. He bets it all on the freedom of Venezuela.
uh,
First warning, second warning. On the third bullet, it's over. Family, your likes, your comments. This is Military Strategies. Freedom is closer. The freedom of Venezuela begins here live. We are starting.
oh.
Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. December 21, 2025. What a weekend. Who would have thought and who would have said that this was going to be boring? That the new moon, the darkness, wasn't going to bring mysterious things and that nothing was going to happen in Venezuela? Welcome. A big hug to all our friends from Venezuela, to the whole community that has been joining the military, together with thousands and thousands of people from around the world who love to enjoy the news in a different way. That's how we do it. That's how we like it. 372,000 followers. Thank you so much. We reached this point while waiting to start the show. And honestly, I want to tell you, we want to reach 400,000. I know it's complicated. I know it's difficult, but nothing is impossible. Just like it's not impossible for Venezuela to be freed from the tyranny of Nicolas Maduro's narco dictatorship. Well, social networks seem pretty quiet. I slept for a while because I was exhausted. I was really exhausted. And I've been building up fatigue for weeks now because of this. I don't know what's going on. It seems like I've been bitten by the sexet fly and I'm terribly sleepy, but I was in bed trying to find out. I don't know, and excuse me for laughing, but it's just that images of Nicolas Maduro, any reaction, any scream from Delcy pulling her hair out? Vladimir Padrino, I can't take it anymore or something. I was trying to find something or some story to bring, but I've only found one. And now you're going to see it, Chop. I still think they don't believe it. We have new details. I have satellite images. Don't ask me how I do it while I'm sleeping. I can't explain it either. But yes, we have images of the tanker Centurion, or Century. How do you want to say it? Where was it? What was it doing? And what happened? There are details that we can already start to discuss and we can start to notice within this story. And here I want to appeal to your common sense. We've been in Military Strategies for days, and we're also going to open the Flight Radar map and access real-time information right now because more things could happen tonight. Greetings to our friends from Guarimba, Mari Gaston. What an amazing show they've had. I watched a bit of the final part. Well, what can I say? Titans of Communication, Mari Gaston. Greetings to the entire Guarimba community joining us. Well, I wanted to say, more things could happen tonight. Don't tell me. Strategies. What are you saying? That's what I say. There are currently 3 oil tankers in the area outside the protection of Nicolas Maduro's cayucos. So we just started, huh? Guarimberos, you're not missing anything. We just started. Right now. There's something that really catches our attention. We've been tracking the Ghost Fleet for days now. We're looking for which ships they are, which ones are sanctioned. What's the story behind it? Who is the ship owner? By doing serious work in that regard, we're perhaps going further than anyone else. All right, something is happening here. Century. Now I'm remembering Cadesa's Century. We had checked it, and it didn't have any sanctions. In fact, we said, well, there's Century. And so on. Goodbye. What happened here? Has he taken the United States? An oil tanker that was not sanctioned. It's a turning point, an oil tanker already paid for by China. We actually have history with this topic. The oil tanker had visited here a few times. Around there, it had been there a couple of times, not many. Since the year 2020, that oil tanker was loading in Venezuela. This wasn't the first time the ship was under close watch. But it had been there 7 times. It had exported Venezuelan crude oil 7 times. Now we're going to start giving intelligence data here in strategy, military. Family, you have to leave your likes. Did you just join us? Super important because we're already sharing operational details of this story. There is a community, there is an international community that has been following the tankers of the Ghost Fleet for many years. Centuris, which was not sanctioned, was being closely monitored. More than 700 satellite photographs. It is among the most visually documented ships ever. Not only because it has been refueling. For Nicolas Manu, the cargo that Century was carrying was probably heating fuel. It could carry. Well, it's believed that he had loaded the Centuris, 1.8 million barrels of crude oil. At the northwest dock of the Jose terminal between December 7, 2025 and December 11, 2025. He did it by disconnecting its systems of geolocation. We now see declassified footage of the assault from the United States. Had he done this charge in secret? Where's the terminal, Jose?
Hey.
People are asking where this event happened. And now is where everything is going to make sense here. With the images we've been seeing and the flights we had seen from Black Cat and a few others. Was this ship carrying refined fuel extracted from the Orinoco Basin? What you're hearing. Pay attention to what we're going to show now. The hidden route that Centuris had made. To go unnoticed and be just another ship in the middle of the sea. Let's get to it inside video. Here we are on marinetraffic.com, a website I trust and use to follow this kind of events. And this is the Jose Antonio Anzoátegui petrochemical complex. Coast of Venezuela near the Barcelona area.
Barcelona.
This is where an important group of oil workers gathers. Some of them, like the ones we're seeing here, are sanctioned. Santos is sanctioned, we know that. Premier is also sanctioned, we know that too. And Galaxy 3 is also sanctioned. Henry, I think he is too. I think everyone here. Camilla, I think they're all sanctioned by the United States of America. The ship Independiente and Warrior King are also sanctioned. Regardless of whether they are in Venezuela or not, in any port in the world, these ships are sanctioned. This needs to be made clear. It's not because they are there. It's because they have sanctions for having committed crimes, according to the United States, or crimes related to the sale of illegal crude or sanctioned crude. What had happened here, and we have proof of the crime here in military strategies. Pay attention to this. While I was sleeping, my dreams were working and bringing more information. Between days 5 and 10, as we have said, I think we said between days 7 and 11, excuse me. December 7th and 11th. Did this happen? Look, this photo. It's the Centuris. The Centuris was refueling at the terminal of Jose, no. Inside in an outside area where they have placed large draft fenders through marine pipes. A way to offer them a drink. To all of them. Let's try to find that image, although unfortunately we won't have it. Wait, yes, we do have it. Sorry, yes, we have it. Satellite image of precisely this story. Here we see the terminal where you can also carry out the same operation, but with ships that have less draft, less depth. We're talking about a Colossus that's 333 meters long, just like an aircraft carrier. It's gigantic. Inside here, in this area, is also where the loading takes place. Take a look. In this structure, which can supply up to 4 oil tankers or more, depending on the size, the loading of the largest ships is done. Also, the most discreet one, the one that is meant to be done quickly. Look, this one is 325 meters long. And a beam. We can see it here. 55 meters long. This is where Centuris was loading from the 7th to the 11th, as we can see in the satellite image. That has been located. This entire operation is carried out in secret by Venezuela. It is not officially declared that Centuris is being loaded with fuel. The invoice for the purchase of that material by China does not appear anywhere. China likely won't even pay for it. Because it might be payment for things that have perhaps arrived in Venezuela, for example, ammunition, weapons. It's possible that part of the payment is with the radars, with the anti-aircraft defense systems, and other things like that. Well, then test it. There, Centuris begins a journey in silent mode to appear as nothing more and nothing less. On the high seas. In this area, he tries to break through the blockade, and this is where Black Cat comes in. The drone we've been watching. For all these nights, crossing from Jacksonville, from Florida, United States, arriving there. The Triton. The Q4. That drone specialized in naval warfare and naval intelligence gathering, along with the P-8 aircraft, is approaching the coast of Venezuela. Do you remember? He was over this area. It detects that the big ship we're talking about, Centuris, is at the cargo terminal. It checks it for several days. They're loading it up to the top. Then it detects that the ship is heading north and positions itself in the Curacao area between Bonaire and Curacao, the northern area of both islands. The United States quietly follows. For days, they carry out air operations over the area and the vector where the ship is located. Gran Roque here, live on several programs, we calculated which ships could be in the La Horchila area, the Gran Roque area. Which ones might they be, and would they be sanctioned? We did an exhaustive search in military strategies, checking them one by one. Something nobody had done before. I think that in no community, in no language, did anyone do it like we did here in military strategies. And we would get to Centuris, and we would say, no, it's not sanctioned. We didn't know where it came from. Centuris was waiting. The right moment to start heading towards China, maybe cross the Panama Canal quickly, to slip away. Among the hundreds and hundreds of oil tankers in this area, the journey was stuck there for days. We were watching Centuris, this giant... Look. Huge. Imposing. We realize that in these photographs, the ship is not loaded. It's not loaded because the waterline, the dead weight, the hull varies in height. When the ship is loaded, the part we see in brown is submerged. It's underwater. The water practically reaches the heights of the black line. This is how it's done so the ship can enter shallow waters, but then it has difficulty. In this photo, the ship is fully loaded. We can see it. Do you see the difference in height? Here we see it loaded again as well. The mega oil tanker, supertanker, and it's fully loaded. According to the images we're seeing in the video, we can see it there. A complete bingo, a blackjack for the United States of America. After capturing Skipper, the regime believes that the United States can capture more ships, which is what Nicolas Maduro's regime is doing. To avoid this scene, he calls all the tankers from the Ghost Fleet to approach Venezuelan waters. For a few days until the departure of Centuris. The ship is being escorted by patrol boats from Venezuela. Part of this journey until it leaves Venezuelan waters has a military escort. That military escort leaves once it crosses Venezuelan waters. That's when it enters a dark zone. This reminds me of World War II. When American ships crossed the Atlantic for a while, the American Navy, which was not yet at war with Germany, officially it provided escort to the ships of cargo to the logistical ships that carried ammunition, fuel, and other things to the United Kingdom to withstand the war. There was an area in the Atlantic where the German submarines waited for those ships. They waited for them in a specific area. When the American protection withdrew and the British protection had to arrive to continue the rest of the journey to the British Isles. The same thing happens here. The United States has been waiting for the military escort presence for that ship to leave. When they did, at dawn, the Navy, sea, air, and land teams deployed from the United States ship Gerald Ford have launched the attack. Did they do it? What happened next is what you're seeing on screen. Nicolas Maduro, he was losing about 2 million barrels of oil. China was losing them too. The United States dealt a double blow. Does the United States know that China is sending weapons to Venezuela? That they're arming them? Did you intentionally pick this ship? The rest of the ships. We've already seen where the rest of the ships in the Ghost Fleet are. Some in Jose, others here in Amue. All tucked close to shelter for some military protection to prevent the United States from coming in and taking them away. Well, be careful. Be careful with this. Even though they're here, at some point they have to get out of there. If they don't get out, it's total bankruptcy. For Nicolas Maduro, the regime runs out of money. A Nicolas Maduro who hasn't shown up. And be careful, because some ships are moving to avoid detection by the United States. Bondra, for example, is right now with a military escort near the waters of Venezuela. There we see it sanctioned. Veronica, a little further north, south of Aruba, also sanctioned. We continue along the same lines. The IFPEL that we're seeing now is not sanctioned. But it has oil from Venezuela. Be careful with this. Azure, another super mega oil tanker, is also sanctioned, and it's also from China, also carrying oil from Venezuela, waiting for the right moment to get out of there. Without United States interference, the captain is waiting for orders. Things could get more interesting. What we find very, very interesting is bankruptcy for Nicolas Maduro. Now, nobody wants to go refuel in Venezuela. Has Venezuela become the cursed route for oil tankers? There are already two very big ones, two that represent a significant economic loss. With this business, Nicolas Maduro makes more than $10 billion a year. To make us realize something, Petróleos de Venezuela, Sociedad Anónima recently. According to Betty LaFea, more than 1.5 million barrels per day are able to project and load more than 1.5 million. A real madness. In fact, they edited the message that we read in the previous show on their social network, on Telegram. They edited it so they wouldn't look ridiculous. 1,200,000, well, this ship took away an entire day's production from Venezuela. It's broken. It's really, really broken. What did he say? What did the regime say? Maduro came out, Vladimir Padrino came out, someone came out to speak, someone had something to say. No? Are you only allowed to send messages? We're going to see it live here on Military Strategies. Look. Let's watch it.
Officer of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, let's go to the Telegram channel. The Executive Vice President of the Republic, Delcy Rodriguez, who says the following: Venezuela condemns the theft of Venezuelan oil, which constitutes a serious act of international piracy by the government of the United States. We are going to read, in addition to the message from the Executive Vice President of the Republic, the official statement. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela denounces and categorically rejects the theft and seizure of a new private vessel that was transporting Venezuelan oil, as well as the forced disappearance of its crew, committed by military personnel of the United States of America in international waters. This serious act of piracy constitutes a blatant violation of the crime established in Article 3 of the 1988 Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, as well as a blatant violation of Article 2 of the United Nations Charter and Article 2 of the Geneva Convention on the High Seas, and of the Declaration concerning the principles of international law relating to friendly relations and cooperation among states, among other applicable rules of international law. The colonialist model that the United States government is trying to impose with these kinds of practices will fail and will be defeated by the Venezuelan people. Venezuela will continue moving forward with its economic growth based on its 14 engines and the development of its hydrocarbon industry in an independent and sovereign manner. We continue reading this official statement. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela reaffirms that these acts will not go unpunished and will take all appropriate actions, including filing a complaint before Congress, the United Nations Security Council, other multilateral groups, and world governments. International law will prevail, and those responsible for these serious acts will be held accountable before justice and history for their criminal actions. Official statement from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
How do you feel? How do you feel after reading a piece of paper without Maduro coming out to explain what's happening? Without Vladimir Padrino coming out to explain why? The oil extracted from Venezuela, sold illegally to China, in which the people won't see a single cent, has been seized by the United States of America. But it's not just the economic impact, it's also the psychological impact. Not being able to defend the ships, not being able to provide them with escort on the high seas, not just within their own coast, but on the high seas. They're not stupid. They're not going to take a military ship out into international waters, escorting it and facing off against the United States Navy. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer would have a great time sinking little boats provided by Iran to Venezuela. Venezuela's surface fleet is very poor in features and capabilities. They can't face off. But not only that. Besides reading there that their only actions will be to talk to the United Nations Security Council or other organizations, to tell them that they are illegally selling oil to countries that support wars? Well, there's something else. The loss of 2 ships like the Skipper and now the Centuris is a very, very hard blow. These ships, besides being bought and contracted by these dictatorships like Russia, China, Iran, countries that are at war in Africa, these ships also have another purpose once they're at sea. The other small ships, the ones from the Ghost Fleet, approach this ship in the middle of the night. They disconnect their transponders so that no one knows they're together. And it's not that the captain of the ship, in this case Centuris, is going to have dinner on ship B unknown name. What they're doing is connecting the hose system at sea to do bunkering, to transfer from one oil tanker to another. Once they do this, the other oil tanker leaves, and that has never happened. No one will know that Venezuela's oil is distributed and pays for the wars of many countries that commit crimes against humanity, against the population. That's where Maduro is also largely responsible for this story, Maduro. The only thing he exports is blood, pain, and suffering through oil, through drugs, through gold. What a shame. What a great shame. But something else is also striking. Not a single one has appeared in a video. They've had all afternoon and all night to come out, say something, record a video about him. What about the ugly one? The only thing they've done is write on their Telegram. And that's about it. They've done it in English and in Spanish. A very, very poor response. Very poor. Here the situation is clear. They don't know what to do. Not even they themselves right now can come up with an answer they can't give. The ideal answer would be that from now on, all those ships have a military escort until they cross the Panama Canal. Well, that's not going to happen, and no one should expect it. This afternoon, the regime just gathered all 4 of their F-16s. Send them to fly along the coast and then return home. They were on Margarita Island thinking that another operation might take place there again. The United States has played them again, and in what way? In Trinidad and Tobago, they've spent days scanning the waters and searching for victims. There's at least one that's sanctioned, but now the issue here isn't just that the ship is sanctioned. I want this to be clear to you. Any ship that loads oil from Venezuela can be requisitioned by the United States of America. It's a naval blockade. Literal. If the United States wants to, they raid them. If they don't want to, they don't raid them. But the choice isn't Venezuela's. The choice is the United States. And that's where the key to this story lies. Vladimir Padrino, who this Saturday was giving support and cover to the militias, has not said anything. And they already knew about the tanker incident. They already knew this had happened. It happened at dawn. Since dawn, they already knew what was happening. Did the ship's chief, the captain, and the crew call Venezuela to tell them what was happening? Did they call the ship owner? There are some helicopters flying around the ship and some guys dressed in camouflage with futuristic weapons. They're heading to the command post. But they haven't said anything about Vladimir yet. He went silent during his television speech today to avoid embarrassing himself. Now Maduro is keeping quiet, but tomorrow he'll come out yelling and banging his head, saying that these people are pirates, privateers, that they're thieves and they're taking the oil. Well, bad news for Nicholas. The bill that Venezuela owes to the United States of America for the exploitation of the oil wells is very high. It's billions of dollars, so the United States is going to keep ships, oil tankers, which works out well for them. They will do the maintenance and can make them available to them. In addition to the cargo, of course, I think Skipper has already arrived in Texas on the coast. He's over there unloading. Let's go see him. Let's see where Skipper has arrived. I thought they were going to take him away. We should hold on to make the humiliation a little harder for them. Let's see where Skipper is. He's already there off the coast of Houston, United States, waiting for the right moment to come in, to unload the crude oil. He can do it in several places. With his scale, of course. How do they get Skipper in there? He doesn't fit in there. It's like an aircraft carrier, I insist. It's huge. It doesn't fit here. Maybe they have to do bunkering in it. Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico. Look at all those who are waiting to enter and unload. Can Skipper come in through here? I don't know. I think so. It's just that these are gigantic ships, really, really big. Let's see what happens. But there's Skipper, that's all. Cut off by the Coast Guard, positioned 10 minutes ago, Centuris brother. We wait a moment. In a few days, they'll arrive. They'll parade them in front of Cuba, and there won't be even a liter of fuel. China. How does this impact United States-China relations? The United States is making it clear Break your alliance with Nicolas Maduro or it will cost you money. And China can't do anything to stop it either because they're loading Venezuelan fuel, which is sanctioned. They're putting themselves at risk by taking that oil tanker. To have it seized. That's intense. Intense. Now, what are they going to tell us? That they're going to defend us or that they're going to do something? Do you think they're going to do something? We don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. They may lack the ability. Maybe. They could surprise us, but I'm afraid not. They can go to Citgo. Yes, they can go to Citgo, possibly. To the Citgo terminal. But it doesn't matter because the oil is already American. The oil is already American. Let's see how they get out of this now. There's nothing better than hitting Nicolas Maduro in the pocket. That's exactly what's happening to the regime now. This is what hurts them. It's what hurts them the most. When their pockets are affected and the black market money dries up. I said it a long time ago. What the United States must do to end the regime. Attack the cartel's supply lines and leave them unable to send fuel or extract oil. Do you sink it? Time is not running out for the United States, nor for Maria Corina, nor for the resistance. No, 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 no. Time is running out for Nicolas Maduro. And why? Because every day that goes by, I'll say it again, they have the entire army deployed. That costs millions of dollars. Yes, also the source that can finance it is captured on the high seas. That's where the game ends for them. It's a marathon. This isn't a race to see who's the fastest. Today, the SP-35 planes also arrived in Ponce. The National Guard is already together with the Navy, all prepared. Well now, surely in the coming days, when all the logistics for the F-35S are ready and everything is set, we'll see the arrival of other planes like the F-15S, for example. Those planes that the United States likes to use so much for precision strikes. The war isn't over. The war has started. It started days ago, many days ago. Also, which is something we really need to keep in mind, family. Keep it very much in mind. They are lost. They are in total darkness. Desperate and unsure what to do. They haven't appeared on any social network. Only Betty LaFea has been saying nonsense on Twitter. On Telegram. Threatening the United States. With going to the United Nations, the United States just laughs. Amazing. What an incredible family. Well, I hope you all enjoyed all the information from this second briefing with intelligence information about what happened with the ship. See you in the next program here on Military Strategies. Best regards.